It is time for the very first Underdog of 2026. Robert, happy to see you again. And who is going to be our little cute underdog this time?
Happy New Year to all the viewers, but we are going back 1 year in time. Well, not 1 year, but we go to the final days of 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a game from the World Blitz Chess Championships, which were taking place in Qatar. I have a game of the world champion, reigning world champion Gukesh. He is only 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And he is playing against an rather unknown player, Sergey Sklokin, if I pronounce correctly. He's only 12 years old, and a lot of bizarre things were happening in the game. So I would like to share with you the game and the ins and outs. Let's have a look. Sklokin is playing with white, Gukesh with black. It's a blitz game, so we go pretty fast through the game as well because
Because it's a blitz game.
it's a bit strange to analyze it for a couple of hours and then say it was only a few minutes, this game. Well, it's 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. Let's have a look. It starts with a theoretical line in the Sicilian Najdorf. So the first couple of moves there are all pretty standard. And Shklokin goes for the system with bishop c4. It's an well, used to be very popular line, and it still actually is. And Shklokin, he really likes it because on the very same day, he played it also in another game against Grandmaster Volokitin. So the first 13 moves, it's all very standard. And we get to see a position with opposite castled kings. So here we are with a bishop on b3. Obviously, white is looking for some action on this diagonal. And therefore, black puts the knight on c5 just to be in time to whip it off in case it's needed. And white starts here with the attack with g4. So in the aforementioned game, which was actually played a couple of rounds later, Volokitin played here the move queen a5. Interesting move with the idea to get an attack with the pawn coming to b4. But Gukesh, he dropped back with a knight from f6 to d7, anticipating the move g5. But white continues with the attack. The other pawn comes to h4. Rook goes to c8. White goes king b1, getting out of the half-open c-file. Knight b6, white goes g5. So I mean, it's a rather unknown position, but pretty standard Sicilian moves. What do you prefer here, Arne? Would you rather be white or black at this point? What do you think?
So interesting because I'm not a Najdorf player on either side. That's the thing where I'm always like, but looking at this position, I have to say I like White's idea. I mean, normally I have some similar positions against the Sicilian where I can push the f pawn to f5 and then
Right.
break through on f6. This is a bit more difficult here, but I don't think it's impossible. So I like the attacking of white here. I like the attacks more of the white players in those positions often.
Yeah, I feel also that white is doing pretty well here. Your plan at this point is not really going to work out. You need your pawn on f3 to keep the e4 pawn defended. But it's also not really clear what black is going to do. Black played here the move d5, trying to strike in the center.
Hmm.
Critical moment because there are a lot of different ways to deal with this idea. What is your first instinct telling you here?
Yeah, I want to go e5 and then push f4, f5.
Actually, very interesting because it's the move I thought about as well. I think it makes a lot of sense to close the position here, also to lock up that bishop on b7. It became like a very bad French bishop, and you have ideas to go f4 or to go h5. Looks very promising for white, but it was not played in the game, and um, white decided to take here on d5. And I think there was a little tactical idea, which we're going to see, because black didn't take back on d5. I think that's the move you would expect. But there's a nice tactical shot here. Let's try to find it. So apart from showing you the game, you have a small calculation exercise now.
Oh,
White
I see. So white to move. Okay, so we just try to. There is probably an option how we can get the bishop on e7. But how do we do that? So if we take, take. We can take on c. No, this is Okay, I'm too complicated here.
Well, it is actually not that simple,
Yeah.
especially not of the first move.
Okay, so the first move I'm also considering is knight f5.
Not so bad actually. It's an interesting move. I'm not sure what's exactly wrong with it, but you gotta reckon also with knight takes b3,
Yeah, so
removing the attacker from the knight on d5.
maybe I take before, like maybe I take on d5 first and then go knight f5.
Not exactly, not exactly. It's not
Okay.
not bad. I'm going to show it to you
Yes,
because
please.
it's pretty hard. It's knight takes e6. You start with removing the knight from the d file to include the rook in the attack, and black doesn't really have the time here to take on c3
Oh, that's
with check.
beautiful.
Because you just take back and then the queen is under an attack as
It's
well. So
it's
you got to take back with a pawn.
yeah, and it's often played in those positions, right? This
A
move.
lot of
Yeah.
similar tactics have been seen before here. Yeah, that's true. And now the next step is to
Take on
make another
c5.
capture. Take on c5. You take back with the bishop.
And now
Queen
we give
takes
a check.
e6. Check. King goes away, and it's time to win back the piece. And white is up 2 pawns. So that is probably the idea white had in mind here during the game. So black decided not to take back on d5, but first eliminated the bishop on b3. And that's an interesting moment again, because there are obviously 2 ways of recapturing, but capturing is not forced. We are not playing checkers. So are there any other possibilities here as well? What is the best move here for white?
Wow. Without capturing, you mean I would still take a piece in my opinion, but you say we don't even take a piece now.
Yeah, it's actually quite remarkable what happened. I mean, the game's continuation, taking back on b3 is actually a mistake. I'm going to show you soon why that is so. But
Wow, that's
apparently,
wild. Okay.
it's really bizarre because this is actually the moment in the game where Sklokin spent most of his time. I think he spent over half a minute here. But he could have gone here for the move knight c6. Instead of taking back a piece,
Knight
knight
c6.
c6.
Okay.
It's a very cool idea to attack the queen. The bishop is now eyeing the knight on b6 as well. And the trick is that if you do take, I take back with a pawn, attacking the queen. So, and if the queen moves, only then you would like to take back. And after queen takes c6, apparently this position is very dangerous for black. That is not that obvious. But white has a very strong attack if he starts here with h5, with the idea to go h6, to tickle the pawn on g7, and with ideas like bishop d4 and queen e5, white succeeds in opening up the king side very fast. But
Uh-huh.
who is going to find this in a blitz game?
In
It's a
30
very
seconds.
difficult line. So you cannot blame the white player for not finding it.
No.
Let's have a look what happened. He took back with the c pawn, but now after knight takes d5, black stabilizes the situation in the center, and it becomes much harder for white to launch an attack. For instance, if you would take on d5, I just take back with the queen. Everything is beautifully coordinated. Rooks are connected. Bishop and queen are doing well here as well. And the knight on d4 doesn't have a good discovered attack. So white decided not to take, but instead played here the move knight e4. So these knights, they look nice, but they don't really have a clear plan what they're going to do next. Queen d7 was played. And white continues with h5. Of course, white would like to continue, but now very important move here for black. How do you increase your or improve your position here at this point?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I need to understand, and maybe this is how to improve the position. Why did the queen even go to d7?
That's a very good question. First of all, rooks are connected. That's the first
Yeah,
thing. But the queen has something in mind.
exactly.
Where would like the queen to go to? Maybe not in one move, but It takes one additional move, in fact.
So I thought about a5, but it doesn't make any sense because that's the queen didn't even, it was on d8 after all. So, or wasn't it? Yeah. Or c7. Where does the queen want to move to?
It's a difficult one.
Is it f5 maybe?
The queen would like to be on f5. Exactly.
It's beautiful. e5 is the idea.
e5 was played, attacking the knight on d4. The knight goes away.
Oh.
Actually, also thanks to the move queen d7, the knight couldn't go to f5.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah.
important. But now the queen comes to f5. And I think this is the ideal spot for the queen from where it's protecting its own king, but it's also putting a bit of pressure on white's pieces. So
Cute.
black is in really good shape here at this point. Let's have a look what happens. Rook h to g1, rook f d8, and white, well, it's not really clear what else white can do. So white continued here with the attack with g6, but now very thematical response. You take once with the f pawn, and then you play the move h6 to keep as many files closed as possible. And well, now white went back with the bishop to c1, but at this point, white was down to only 9 seconds. We are on move 25 only. 9 seconds against 47 of black. And as I said, black is in good shape. You would think this is going to be a very easy time here for the reigning world champion. Let's have a look. Knight f6. Very nice move. Trying to initiate more exchanges. Putting pressure on the knight on e4 and the pawn on f3.
Isn't black just like clearly better right now?
Actually, black is really doing well.
Yeah.
So I think black is even technically winning here at this
Gosh,
point.
how did this turn around?
Yeah, let's have a look. Knight e3. The knight comes into the attack to hit the queen.
It's a check,
but
all right.
the bishop takes on e4 with check. So pawn takes, queen takes, king goes to a2, and now the bishop goes to c5. Excellent move. Pinning the knight on e3. Rook g2 e1 played, but then another pawn can just be taken. Queen takes g6. Black is up.
Oh my!
2 pawns.
This is funny because white only has 3 pawns, but they're only on A and B.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very difficult to create a passed pawn even on that side of the board. But white is still looking for counterplay. Rook g1. The rook is coming back to the open file to hit the queen. Queen e4. Rook takes rook. Rook takes back. Queen f2. First trick. Queen takes f6 is on the agenda. Exploiting the pin down the g file. So king h7. Queen to g3. Threatening mate. Rook d7. Black is parrying the threats. Queen h3.
Oh, how annoying.
I think you can see some tactical ideas here with maybe a bishop on h6 and a knight coming to f5.
So many threats.
Rook d3, attacking the knight one more time. The queen comes back. And of course, white would be happy to see a repetition of moves here if the rook comes back to d7. But Gukesh goes for g5 to move away the threat from g7. But it slightly weakens the king's position. But everything's still under control. Rook e1. White needs to defend the knight. One more time. Knight d5. Look at this. The knight is pinned so many times. This looks completely game over. But now...
But what a pity, by the way, that the knight couldn't go to g5 as a tactic.
Yeah, that was not possible. No. But look at this, Arne. Knight takes d5 with the idea that you cannot take the queen because of knight f6.
The same idea, exactly, yes.
Queen takes d5. And white plays queen g4, intending to infiltrate with the queen. But now also the pawn on b3 can be taken. Black is up 3 pawns. King b1.
Goodness.
And the black queen comes home. Now queen f7 is a very safe move. And after queen e4, check, double attack, black can still block it with queen g6. And there's no time to take the pawn on e5, because after doing that, there is rook e3 with a discovered check, winning the queen. So white, after queen g6, is even forced to take on g6. Queens are coming off the board, And we have this endgame. Rook takes e5. You're 2 pawns up as black. Should be easy, right? But I think here at this point, both players were down to like 4 or 5 seconds each. So it's becoming a bit of a mess now. But okay, they still have this increment as well. So still, it should be relatively a simple task for black. That's what my first thought was. But black played here bishop to g1 to save the bishop, rook e6, and the king goes to h5. White improves the king first. The rook goes back to defend the pawn on b5. Rook
Just in
takes b6.
case white would
Just in
have
case,
pre-moved.
yeah, exactly. Rook c5 check, king d1, rook d5, king e2. I'm not really sure this was the best plan of Gukesh because he's basically helping white to activate the king. But, well, the bishop comes back to d4. And, well, maybe white could try here a move like b3 with the idea to create a passed pawn on the queen side. That could be a way to generate counterplay. But there followed b4, rook e5 check, king d3, attacking the bishop. The bishop comes to f2. And now rook a5. Now things are getting interesting again. My question for you and the viewers is, what's going to be next? How would you continue here with black? Very important moment.
Rook a5. Why would you even do that? That's also
What is the idea behind this
funny
mysterious
to
rook
me.
move?
Yes, it is mysterious on so many levels. It's like putting itself away. Okay, now I finally see it. So it's a4, of course.
Exactly. You try to make use of the unprotected rook. White would like to get in the move a4.
So this is the second time where there is a move made right now, which I do not understand, and I have to think, and then it's very crystal clear. So the question of all questions is, g4, is it quick enough to go
g4
to
was played
g3?
in the game, so great minds think alike. Arne, well done.
I think you
Unfortunately
lost,
for you,
though.
it is not a good move. I have to
Oh, wow.
tell you, it's not good at all. First, I'm going to show you what's the most straightforward way to convert. That is to activate a king here with the move king g4.
Okay, that was my second choice, at least.
And if you do play a4 now, the best thing black can do is run with the h-pawn. The h-pawn is the most difficult force to deal with. And if you take now on b5, and I think this is really difficult to see in advance because even when those guys are low on time, I think Gukesh should see the idea of king g4. But I think the main problem is somewhere in the line. And now if you would run with your h-pawn, which is the obvious move, the problem is that white can play here this move, b6. And you cannot take the pawn on b6 with the bishop because the rook is under an attack. And then you see the b pawn it's a really dangerous force now. So instead, rather than running right away with the h pawn, what you need to do is to play a move like rook f5. I think this is a very difficult move to find being low on time. What's the idea is that the rook is now protected, and in case white is going to push the b pawn, you can simply take it. So you're neutralizing white's counterplay, and next the h pawn is going to decide.
That is strong.
That is just totally winning. Instead, they followed the move g4. But what is wrong with this move? This is something Gukesh had completely overlooked. White's next move.
Well, isn't it? It's not a4.
It's not a4.
So what about bishop f4 then?
Not bad, but you have a better idea here.
Do I? Bishop b2? No, it doesn't make any sense.
No. It's a remarkable idea because it's not something with your bishop.
Oh, wow. Now I am stunned.
Do you see it?
I do not. I mean, there's no...
What has changed in the position because of black's
The king is open, kind of, but...
Yeah. How to attack the king here?
Yeah, how to attack the king here? It's a very good question, Robert.
Well, you're still shocked by that mysterious rook move. But the rook
I'm so confused
that going to stay on a5. It's coming back to a6. This was missed by Gukesh. White is threatening checkmate.
Oh, no!
That is the problem.
I missed that
And,
too. I
yeah,
really
yeah,
think I'm like the world champion.
yeah, you're on the same level today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Look at this. G3 plate. It's basically the only way to get out of that
Oh
mating net.
gosh, out of a sudden 3 pawns more, now it's equal.
3 pawns up. Now it's equal, but the game isn't over
Oh,
yet.
that must hurt in the brain already if it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. And that explains what's going to happen next as well. King G4, Rook G6. Black continues, of course, because you have a pawn which is almost queening, but how to get any further? You don't really want to block with your king here. King G4, Rook G6, King F5, Rook G5 played, King F6, and White decides very wisely to keep
the
the rooks.
rooks.
Yeah. Because, for instance, if you do take, you cannot bring your king here because of King E4. And whenever you put your king on F1, there's going to be King F3. This is going to be a funny
That's
checkmate
it
idea.
already. Ouch.
Yeah. And you don't have to play King F1, but if you move the bishop, Black is going to move the bishop as well. And then it's G2, G1, and the pawn is going to be promoted. So rooks need to stay on the board. White played Rook G4. And you see now, it's not only that White has managed to restore the material balance, the Rook is an excellent defender being placed behind Black's passed pawn. King F5, Rook G5, King E6, Rook G4, King D5. Black still wants to win the game, of course. Bishop F4, attacking the Rook, attacking the pawn. Rook F5. Now, the trick is you cannot take the pawn, of course, because of Rook F3, King E2, Rook takes G3, and Black is winning a piece. So that's not a good idea. But White can now bring the king to E2, and the pawn is within reach. Bishop D4 played. Bishop takes G3. White is up a pawn. Bishop B2, attacking the pawn on B2.
My goodness.
On A3, sorry. Rook F4, offering the exchange of rooks. And now, of course, if you do take everything, let's say take, you take on A3, you can just even bring your king and stay on a light square, and Black is never going to make any progress.
Okay,
This is a dead rule.
But you don't want to lose, of course. Yeah.
You don't want to lose, of course. So look at this. Rook G5. Black continues fighting here, attacking the bishop. Rook comes back, defending both the pawn on A3 and the bishop. King C4. Bishop F2, Rook E5, King D2, Rook E4. The game continues. King C2, Rook E2, King D1. Rook goes back, King C2. White is happy with the draw here, obviously. Bishop E5, Rook E3.
Oh, why can't you not just take on A3? Am I stupid?
No, the rook is there. The rook is defending.
Yeah, but can you not give a check on E2 and take the other rook, bishop?
Which moment you mean?
So
like
now you
King
can no. You just take instead of going bishop to E5. Why can't you take on A3?
The rook is defending. Oh,
yeah, but
you're making a draw. You're making a
but
draw.
Because it is. I'm not.
He is still pressing. He's
yeah,
still pressing for the win.
I'm just winning the pawn, but if I even win it, so okay.
Normally, Black is not risking here anything. Black should be totally fine. He's too active, but he wants to play for a win as long as possible. But he's going too far here because look at this. Black, instead of taking on E3, which is still a dead roll bishop endgame, they follow this move, Rook F4. What is White going to play now?
What is White gonna play now?
Come on, do your tactics, Arne.
Yeah. Oh, it's just Bishop G3, right?
Bishop G3, missed by the world champion. Bishop G3.
Also by me.
Yeah, okay. Can happen. Rook G4, Bishop takes E5. And, well, that's it. The game continued a few more moves, but Black is simply unable to make a comeback here. Like, this is bizarre. You were 3 pawns up. 3 pawns. World champion, 3 pawns up with a huge time advantage. And even playing with increment, I mean, it rarely happens that these top players, they fail to convert. But to lose that position, for me, that was absolutely insane. Well, at this point, after 80 moves...
so in the last
Black resigned.
30 moves, White won 5 pawns.
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
absolutely
I need to
bizarre.
ask you, yeah, what an amazing game. A really nice pick you taken there. So did Sklokin just do brilliant endgame exercise? Is he just very good in endgames, or is this a thing where Gukesh was just he needed to win, then he came into this wheel of losing and losing more and more and more, and he couldn't comprehend?
Well, I think it was for sure a total off day for Gukesh, but you should definitely also give some credits to the weaker side for showing huge resilience throughout this end game. Because what White did the only thing he could do. It's like trying to impose small threats, create little threats. So
Hmm.
he did really well. But yeah, he was completely lost. So usually in lost positions, it's becoming easier than to play in complicated positions. In complicated positions, it's easy to make mistakes, but when you're lost, you look for your only chance to
Yeah,
complicate things, and that's what Shklokin did pretty well
I,
actually.
I,
But
f- I feel a lot for Gukesh because this is typically how my Blitz games are going as well. I have like one or two pawns, even three more, and then I still lose in the end game like this.
so that offers some consolation, yeah, that at least this can happen to everyone.
I hope not to you at home. Thank you so much, Robert, and we see each other for another underdog very soon. Until
Very
then,
soon.
bye
Bye
bye.
bye.